There's quite a serious philosophy behind a lot of the work that you do. I mean, we've just been touching on it. And words are very important to you, aren't they? I mean, you've already been demonstrating these, the little songs that you sing, the little mnemonics you have, to remind people of what they should be doing and how they should be trying. But, I mean, there are some special words, aren't there? I mean, you call them Winston words.
Yes. Winston Churchill learned a new word every day of his adult life, and we learn one every week in the weekly classes. And if I can say, my favourite one is Ubuntu, Ubuntu.
Which means community.
That's right. It means connectedness.
Yes.
I feel connected to you right now, and you to me, and I care about you, and you about me. And it's lovely, it involves eye contact and so on. And it's very much, Archbishop Desmond Tutu told me about this word, and it's his personal and spiritual philosophy. And, friends have Ubuntu, and I think there is a great flavour of Ubuntu, which is mainly from the Xhosa tribe and the Zulus. But it's actually relevant to all Africans. And it's a beautiful word. And if somebody doesn't want it, though, well, I think you've just got to leave it then. But there is such a lovely atmosphere in my adult class particularly, and this feeling of Ubuntu, and the South African shake hands, which would be 1, 2, 3. That's the South African handshake. Ubuntu, 2. That's right, 3. I loved working in Soweto. That was one of the most joyous memories I've got. I mean, the poverty, and I'm not trying to romanticize poverty here, was nothing can prepare you for it, except, of course, things have improved vastly in South Africa now. But the children taught me the South African handshake, and this word Ubuntu, they're full of it, the children. You sometimes see them lifting each other up on their shoulders, and it's just so lovely.
Somebody once described you, listening to, because you, on touching and eye contact and smiling and phrases and words, all of these are very, very important to you. Someone described you as a disciplinarian hippie.
Oh.
Have you ever heard that description?
No.
So
I like it.
Although you are quite, we've heard about your discipline. I mean, you're quite strict. This is what you do. But also, because some of these ideas, they are a little bit. They're not hard politics. I mean, they're about interactional politics, aren't they? About individuals getting on with individuals. Is that
that's
true?
Right. That's beautifully put. I like hippie, disciplinarian hippie. That's lovely. Whoever said that, I thank them.
Well, it's a sort of contradiction in terms, but the other one about it, because you're not orthodoxly political, are you? Because I mentioned earlier in the interview Joan Littlewood, who was quite clearly of the left and a socialist, and wanted to do something to transform the conditions of society. You don't have a political agenda in that sense, do you?
No, I don't. I don't analyse it too much, I don't think. But
So peace workshops, because I want to ask about those Peace Pebble workshops.
The peace workshops, I think, started in 1979 when I was invited to Northern Ireland, and I had Catholics and Protestants working together, integration through improvisation. And when we were there, it was when Lord Mountbatten was killed as we were doing the workshops, which was just, that was horrifying. And there were those Catholic and Protestant children working in bliss, really, together. So that was the start. I went back 7 times since when I was invited back again. And they were peace workshops. I mean, I went to Bosnia-Herzegovina, and there I had Serbs, Croats and Muslims working together. Integration through improvisation. And they got on like a house on fire.
And Israel?
Israel, that's right, Israel. Jews and Arabs, we worked in a bomb shelter together. And they just got on so well. Soweto, I've already mentioned. Zimbabwe.
You even wanted to go to Rwanda. I don't think
I did go.
Oh, you did go to
I
Rwanda?
did, yes. With Hutus and Tutsis. That was wonderful.
But
I
what
loved it.
What do you do, Anna? I mean, tell me. I mean, you arrive in Rwanda. I can't imagine what happens. How do you set up?
Well, basically, I take one of my own trained people, and I took Leon Iani, a very good guy. He accompanied me, and then before I go, I do prep. And I might go to the Rwandan embassy or whatever and tell them what I want to do to give classes free of charge. And they find somebody there on the ground, a facilitator. It's much easier than you would imagine. And I just go for a few days. And it's lovely. I loved Rwanda. I mean, it was just beautiful. And again, the Hutus and Tutsis got on like a house on fire.
Do you think that this is a way to resolve conflicts, or do you feel it's just a way in which the small number of people who come along, that they can somehow, that they can be improved, or their tolerance or their empathy for others can be improved? Or do you feel that if there were more of these workshops, then we would be able to do something about major conflicts? I mean, are they just are they significant in terms of changing the world?
I think they make a little footprint, but I do believe there should be more organisations which work on integration through improvisation. And I think more and more places are now working that way. And I think, I know people have used it as a blueprint to follow on.
When you're talking about when you're doing these workshops, you're doing improvisation, are you? So
yes,
you're going in
the
and
same
you're
sort
saying...
of classes, exactly.
So it's being translated, and you're saying to children, imagine a situation
Yes.
and act it out.
When I went to India, I had a translator there. She was very good. And it was wonderful. There were quite small children that came to that workshop, or the workshops. And when I used to come, I used to run down the corridor and they would say, "Namaste, namaste." And I was so excited to see them, and they were to see me. That was lovely.
What does namaste mean?
Namaste means I salute the divine in you.
And that's become one of your Winston words, I think.
Yes, namaste, yes.
Namaste
yes.
and Ubuntu.
And I start the class with Shalom Salam, which is peace in Hebrew and in Arabic. And I remember the girls, some of the girls in Israel were in tears because they were delighted that I had bothered to learn some Arabic. And they really appreciated it. But children are children all over the world. And I think, yes, to go back to what you said, Laurie, I mean, I think workshops of that ilk, one can only have blessings from it.
Now, I wonder where... Let's go back. I want to go back a little tiny bit, because I'm interested to know where almost your philosophy of life came from, because you have described yourself as well an Irish, Jewish, Lithuanian integrationist. You know, there's a lot of words. Tell me a little bit, because I know only a little bit really about your background. I mean, who in your where does the Jewishness, where does the Lithuanian come from?
Yes, well, I am actually Orthodox Jewish. My mother and father were Jewish, and then but I lived in Ireland, which I loved, green blood. I lived in Ireland until I was 14. And then my mother's father was Lithuanian, but my mother's mother was Irish, and my father's parents were both Irish as well.
So how did you come to end up in Ireland? How did the family... I mean, 'cause were you born in Ireland?
I was born in Ireland,
In
yes.
Cork?
Yes, in Cork, which is a beautiful place. I've only stopped recently getting emotional about Cork because I just loved it so much.
And there were four
girls.
Four girls in your... And you were the eldest?
I was the eldest, and one brother
And then
who came along after.
And that meant that you went to convent school?
Yes, only Jewish girl in the convent school.
That must have been... Did you have to leave while prayers were being said, or...?
Something like that. When they had religious instruction, I was allowed to sit in my desk reading books. But of course, I now find I go to Mass. I go to Mass on a Sunday, and that must be a throwback from my days in Cork. But there
wasn't any conflict. I mean, were your family happy with the idea that you should be going along to a Catholic school? Because you actually, I think you started, at one time, you thought you might become a nun.
That's right.
Well,
I am...
A Jewish nun would have been interesting.
A Jewish nun would have been interesting, wouldn't it, Laurie? Yes, but Cork was just lovely, and I was at a lovely college called St. Angela's College, which was wonderful, and my friends there... I've still got a lovely friend there called Patty. She's delightful. I loved the warmth and friendliness of Cork. And then at 14, my father decided that we go to Hove in Sussex, or Hove actually. And I found Hove a very reserved place.
You must have been very sad to leave, because what you say, you enjoyed it. They all came to wave goodbye to you.
That's right, yes.
Standing there, we've got. I remember that memory that you have, don't you,
yes.
of them in their green
uniforms. Yes, Laurie. And I was in the Inishvallen boat with my family, and suddenly, from round the corner, they came running down to wave goodbye to me. And I've always found waving very sad. Not waving but drowning, just wave, wave, wave. And I was in tears because I loved it at school. And I was never made feel different in the sense of, alien. But I found school was just a haven.